There is a unique strength that emerges when a woman chooses to live alone without the distraction of romantic entanglements. Many people misunderstand this path, believing that a woman without a boyfriend is incomplete, lonely, or lacking love. But the truth is quite the opposite. When a woman embraces her own company, she steps into a realm of freedom, self-discovery, and empowerment that is rarely experienced by those who depend on another for validation. This life is not about isolation, it is about intimacy. The intimacy with herself, with her thoughts, her dreams, and her soul. In this silence, she begins to hear her own voice clearly for the first time, without the noise of someone else's expectations, desires, or opinions shaping her reality. Living alone is not merely a matter of geography. It is a profound state of being. It allows a woman to experience life fully on her terms. She learns to make decisions based solely on what resonates with her heart, rather than what is socially expected or culturally imposed. When she does not seek approval from a romantic partner, she can pursue her passions with undivided attention. She can work toward her goals without compromise, explore her creativity without restriction, and nurture her emotional health without interruption. Each day becomes a lesson in self-sufficiency, self-respect, and self-love. This independence is not born from arrogance or avoidance, it is cultivated through deliberate choice. A woman who lives alone without boyfriends understands that happiness does not come from the presence of another person, but from alignment with her own values and desires. She learns to find joy in small things, the aroma of morning coffee, the comfort of a book, the satisfaction of completing a project, the laughter of a close friend or family member. Her life becomes a tapestry woven from her own experiences, not dictated by the rhythms of someone else's heart. This mastery over her own world is rare, and it carries a power that attracts respect, admiration, and even love, but only on her terms. Many fear solitude, because they confuse it with loneliness. But a woman living alone discovers that solitude is not emptiness, it is presence. In this space, she confronts her fears, embraces her vulnerabilities, and explores the depths of her potential. Without the constant distraction of a romantic partner, she can truly focus on the cultivation of her mind, body, and spirit. Meditation, reflection, learning, and self-improvement become natural parts of her life. She realizes that the relationship she truly needs is not external, it is the relationship with herself, and when this relationship is strong, all other connections become healthier, more authentic, and more fulfilling. Living alone also sharpens discernment. When a woman is unattached, she has the freedom to observe people without the influence of romantic desire. She sees clearly who is genuinely supportive, who values her for who she is, and who may bring negativity into her life. This clarity is invaluable. Many people enter relationships with blurred vision, unable to distinguish between love and convenience, affection and obligation, compatibility and infatuation. But solitude creates a space for truth. She no longer settles for distractions disguised as love. She learns to wait, to honor her own timing, and to choose connections consciously rather than reactively. Emotional resilience is another profound gift of living alone. A woman who navigates life without a romantic partner must develop coping mechanisms for stress, disappointment, and uncertainty. She learns to soothe her own heart, to provide her own comfort, and to celebrate her victories without seeking external validation. This resilience transforms her into a magnet for positive energy, respect, and genuine admiration. People are naturally drawn to those who do not rely on others for self-worth, because such individuals radiate confidence, clarity, and stability. She becomes a force in her own right, unshakable by societal judgment or the whims of others. Financial independence is another cornerstone of this lifestyle. When a woman lives alone, she learns to manage her finances, plan for her future, and make investments in herself rather than someone else. She becomes strategic, disciplined, and intentional in her approach to money. This independence empowers her to make choices freely, without being influenced by dependency or compromise. Her security is not tied to a partner's decisions, career, or financial situation. Instead, it grows directly from her own efforts, planning, and intelligence, giving her a sense of freedom that cannot be taken away. There is also a spiritual dimension to living alone without a romantic partner. In the absence of constant external attachment, a woman can explore her beliefs, her connection with the universe, and her understanding of life's purpose. She can cultivate a relationship with herself that is deep, sacred, and transformative. This spiritual grounding is not reliant on another person, it is self-generated. It provides strength during challenges, clarity during confusion, and peace during chaos. Over time, she becomes not only self-sufficient, but also spiritually aligned, capable of attracting relationships that are healthy, balanced, and mutually enriching if she chooses to do so. Society often pressures women to define themselves through romantic relationships, to find validation through the attention of men, or to measure success in life by the status of their partnership. But the woman who lives alone disrupts this narrative. She creates her own definition of success, fulfillment, and happiness. She measures her worth through her accomplishments, her integrity, her compassion, and her growth. She proves, by example, that a woman does not require a boyfriend to be complete, to be happy, or to live a meaningful life. Her independence is not rebellion, it is mastery. It is a declaration that her value is inherent, not negotiated, and cannot be dictated by anyone else. And in this autonomy, she discovers the joy of creation, of making her own life intentionally, without compromise. She sets routines that nurture her energy, practices hobbies that ignite her passion, forms friendships that uplift, and engages in work that resonates with her purpose. Every decision, every habit, every action reflects her values and her desires. She becomes fully responsible for her life, fully accountable for her growth, and fully present in her experiences. This is a rare kind of power, one that cannot be given or taken. It can only be earned and nurtured. Ultimately, the woman who chooses to live alone without boyfriends embodies the art of self-mastery. She teaches the world that solitude is sacred, independence is beautiful, and inner fulfillment is superior to external validation. She cultivates strength, wisdom, and resilience that cannot be shaken by societal judgment, gossip, or pressure to conform. She lives with intentionality, honor, and authenticity, creating a life that is fully hers, rich in experience, growth, and joy. In her silence, she is not lonely, she is free. In her solitude, she is not weak, she is powerful. And in her independence, she becomes a living testament to the beauty and strength of a woman who is complete unto herself. There is a quiet power that grows when a woman chooses to live alone, free from the complexities and compromises of romantic entanglements. Many people mistake this lifestyle for loneliness, thinking that a woman who does not have a boyfriend is missing something essential, but nothing could be further from the truth. Living alone is a declaration of self-sufficiency, self-respect, and inner strength. It is the conscious choice to nurture a relationship with oneself first, to understand one's own mind, heart, and spirit before sharing them with anyone else. In a world where dependence on others is often glorified, a woman who embraces solitude becomes a teacher without even speaking. When a woman lives alone, she discovers the freedom to explore her desires without compromise. She no longer has to negotiate her dreams or adjust her goals to fit the expectations of a partner. Each day becomes a canvas for her own expression. She can pursue education, career growth, hobbies, travel, and self-improvement fully and authentically. The time and energy she invests are not diluted by attempts to please another. They flow directly into the cultivation of her own life. This autonomy is a rare gift, for it allows her to define success on her own terms. It allows her to build a life that reflects her values, passions, and aspirations without interference. Solitude also fosters clarity. Without the influence of a romantic partner, she can observe her own thoughts and emotions with honesty. She becomes aware of her triggers, her strengths, and her weaknesses. This self-awareness is empowering because it allows her to make conscious choices rather than reactive ones. She learns to identify what truly brings her fulfillment and what merely distracts her from her path. Emotional intelligence grows naturally in this environment, for she must manage her own fears, desires, and expectations without relying on someone else to mediate or soothe them. Another profound aspect of living alone is emotional resilience. A woman who navigates life independently learns to face challenges head-on. She develops coping mechanisms that are grounded in self-reliance. When stress, disappointment, or uncertainty arise, she turns inward for strength, rather than looking outward for rescue. This resilience transforms her, giving her a sense of inner calm that cannot be shaken by external circumstances. People around her notice this strength. It radiates confidence, stability, and wisdom. She becomes someone whose energy is respected, not because she commands it from others, but because she commands it from herself. Financial independence is also a key dimension of this lifestyle. Without a boyfriend or partner, a woman takes full responsibility for her finances, planning and future security. She learns discipline, foresight, and strategic thinking. This independence allows her to make decisions without compromise, ensuring that her resources align with her priorities rather than someone else's. Her life becomes a reflection of her planning, intelligence, and foresight. She is free to pursue opportunities, invest in herself, and create a future that she controls. In essence, financial independence amplifies her freedom in every area of life. Living alone also teaches discernment. She learns to recognize the energy and intentions of the people around her. Without romantic attachments clouding her perception, she can identify who genuinely supports her, who aligns with her values, and who might bring negativity into her life. This clarity is invaluable because it protects her from toxic relationships, shallow connections, and manipulations. She becomes selective in her interactions, choosing only those that nourish her growth, expand her perspective, and align with her higher purpose. Solitude sharpens her intuition, making her a master at reading situations and people with accuracy. There is also a spiritual awakening that accompanies living alone. When a woman spends time in her own company, she is more attuned to her inner world. She reflects, meditates, and contemplates life's deeper questions. She develops a relationship with herself that is sacred and enduring, independent of external validation. In this sacred space, she discovers purpose, meaning, and alignment with the universe's rhythm. This spiritual growth strengthens her ability to navigate life with calm, patience, and grace. It provides her with inner guidance that no external influence can disrupt. The society often pressures women to define themselves by their romantic relationships, measuring success and worth by whether a partner is present. A woman who chooses to live alone challenges this narrative. She demonstrates, through her actions and presence, that fulfillment comes from within. She does not need external validation to confirm her value. Her life is rich, meaningful, and complete because she has chosen to prioritize herself, her growth, and her happiness. By living independently, she teaches others a profound lesson. Self-sufficiency and inner contentment are far more powerful than dependence on anyone else for love or approval. Living alone allows a woman to cultivate deep, authentic relationships with the people who truly matter. Friendships, family bonds, and mentorships flourish because she approaches them from a place of completeness, not neediness. She is able to offer genuine support, love, and attention without distraction or compromise. Her relationships are intentional, mutually nourishing, and based on respect rather than obligation or convenience. She becomes a source of inspiration for others, showing that it is possible to live a fulfilled life without conforming to societal expectations about romance. Ultimately, the woman who chooses this path embodies the highest form of self-respect and empowerment. She teaches the world that life is not a race to be paired, but a journey to be mastered. Her solitude is her strength, her independence is her armor, and her presence is her power. By living alone without boyfriends, she reclaims her narrative, defines her worth, and creates a life that is fully her own. She becomes a living testament to the beauty, freedom, and fulfillment that arise when a woman chooses herself first. Her life proves that happiness is not contingent on another person. It is cultivated, nurtured, and embodied from within. In this space of freedom and self-mastery, she discovers joy in the simple, profound, and ordinary aspects of life. She appreciates the quiet morning, the clarity of thought, the satisfaction of accomplishment, and the peace that comes from knowing she is whole. Her energy is undivided, her mind is clear, and her spirit is free. She lives fully, deeply, and intentionally, demonstrating that the absence of a romantic partner is not a void. It is a space of immense potential, growth, and power. There is a subtle magic that occurs when a woman chooses to live alone without a boyfriend. The world often tells her that she is missing out, that happiness and completeness are only found in romantic attachment. Yet, the truth is entirely different. In the absence of romantic entanglements, she discovers a profound freedom to be herself fully, without masks, without compromise, without fear of judgment. She begins to recognize that life is not about seeking validation from others, but about creating a life that resonates deeply with her soul. This independence does not isolate her. It liberates her. She begins to understand that the most important relationship she will ever have is the one she nurtures with herself. Living alone is a conscious choice, an act of courage, and a demonstration of self-respect. It requires a willingness to confront the societal pressures that insist a woman must always be in a romantic relationship to be valued. She chooses instead to prioritize her growth, her happiness, and her peace. In this space, she can pursue her goals, develop her talents, and explore her passions with undivided attention. She is no longer distracted by the expectations, needs, or demands of another. Each day becomes an opportunity to invest in her own development, to craft a life that is intentional, fulfilling, and authentic. This choice cultivates self-sufficiency. When a woman lives alone, she learns to rely on herself for emotional support, for decision-making, and for validation. She becomes attuned to her inner voice and develops the confidence to trust her instincts. She realizes that she is capable of navigating life's challenges without depending on a romantic partner for guidance or comfort. This self-reliance strengthens her character, sharpens her mind, and deepens her understanding of her own values. She learns to stand tall, to face difficulties with resilience, and to find joy in her own company. Solitude also fosters clarity. A woman who lives alone gains the ability to see her life with precision, to recognize what truly matters, and to distinguish between what is fleeting and what is enduring. She learns to observe her thoughts, emotions, and behaviors without distortion, without compromise, and without the influence of another's expectations. In this clarity, she can make decisions that are aligned with her authentic self. She understands that fulfillment is not found in chasing another person's approval, but in honoring her own needs, boundaries, and desires. Emotional resilience becomes second nature to a woman who embraces living alone without the constant support or reassurance of a romantic partner. She learns to navigate life's uncertainties with grace. She faces challenges head-on, developing coping mechanisms that are rooted in self-awareness and mindfulness. She becomes adept at managing stress, disappointment, and loneliness with inner strength rather than dependence. Over time, she cultivates a sense of calm and stability that becomes magnetic to those around her. Her energy commands respect, not because she demands it, but because it is grounded in authenticity and integrity. Living alone also sharpens discernment in relationships. Without the influence of romantic attachment, she can recognize who is genuinely supportive, who aligns with her values, and who might bring negativity into her life. This clarity prevents her from engaging in shallow, toxic, or manipulative relationships. She is able to cultivate friendships, mentorships, and familial connections that are meaningful, authentic, and nourishing. Her interactions are intentional and reciprocal, not dictated by need or societal pressure. Solitude refines her intuition, allowing her to see clearly and act wisely in matters of the heart and mind. Financial independence is another significant advantage of living alone. A woman who manages her own finances gains control over her life in ways that extend far beyond money. She learns discipline, foresight, and strategic thinking. She can make choices freely, invest in herself, and create opportunities without compromise. This independence fosters confidence, security, and empowerment. It allows her to define her path and build a future on her own terms. Her decisions are guided by her own priorities, not by the desires or limitations of a partner. Spiritual growth flourishes in solitude. A woman living alone has the time and space to reflect, meditate, and explore her beliefs. She can deepen her connection with her inner self and with the universe, cultivating awareness, compassion, and wisdom. This spiritual alignment provides guidance, strengthens resilience, and nurtures inner peace. She becomes grounded, centered, and capable of facing life's challenges with equanimity. In her solitude, she discovers that true fulfillment is not found externally but within herself. Society often measures a woman's worth by her romantic involvement, suggesting that a relationship defines her value. But a woman who chooses to live alone redefines this narrative. She demonstrates that fulfillment, happiness, and success are cultivated from within. She measures her worth through her achievements, integrity, and growth, rather than through another person's presence or approval. She becomes a living example that self-sufficiency, clarity, and independence are forms of power far more enduring than any romantic attachment. Living alone allows her to fully embrace creativity, passion, and personal expression. She can pursue her career, hobbies, travel, and personal projects with focus and dedication. There is no compromise on her dreams. Every choice, action, and habit becomes a reflection of her authentic self. Her life is intentional, designed around her values and desires. She discovers joy in the small, simple moments, morning rituals, quiet walks, books, music, or creative expression, because she is fully present and unencumbered by expectations of others. Ultimately, the woman who lives alone without a boyfriend embodies empowerment, self-respect, and mastery over her life. She teaches the world that happiness is not dependent on another person, that peace is cultivated internally, and that freedom is the most potent form of strength. Her solitude is not a void, it is a space of opportunity, growth, and power. She becomes a beacon of inspiration, demonstrating that independence is beautiful, fulfilling, and transformative. Through her choices, she shows that a woman can be complete, whole, and thriving on her own. In this life of independence, she also discovers patience. She no longer rushes into relationships for temporary comfort or social acceptance. She waits for meaningful connections that align with her values and vision. Her timing becomes her own, and she understands that love, when it comes, is an addition to her life, not a requirement for completeness. She has cultivated a world rich in fulfillment, clarity, and joy, where every moment is hers to own, every choice is hers to make, and every day is an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and freer. Through this journey, she realizes that living alone is not a sacrifice, it is a gift. It is an opportunity to become the person she was always meant to be: confident, self-reliant, wise, and fully present in her own life. Her freedom, her clarity, and her strength are her legacy, and they shape the life she is creating for herself. In solitude, she does not feel incomplete. She feels alive, empowered, and whole. There is an extraordinary level of power and clarity that a woman gains when she chooses to live alone without the distraction of a boyfriend or romantic relationship. Many people view this choice with skepticism, assuming that happiness or fulfillment is only possible when paired with another person. Yet, the truth is entirely the opposite. Living alone opens doors to self-discovery, personal empowerment, and a life built entirely on one's own terms. A woman who walks this path quickly realizes that the most important relationship she will ever have is with herself, and when that relationship is strong, it radiates outward into every aspect of her life. Choosing to live alone is not an act of isolation, it is a conscious decision to honor one's independence and freedom. It allows a woman to prioritize her growth, her dreams, and her passions without compromise. She is free to cultivate her career, pursue education, explore hobbies, travel, or develop spiritual practices without the constant influence of another's expectations or desires. Each day becomes an opportunity to deepen her connection with herself, to explore her inner world, and to act in alignment with her values. This autonomy is not just liberating, it is transformative, shaping her into a woman whose confidence and clarity are unmistakable. Solitude encourages self-reflection and introspection. A woman living alone has the space to observe her own thoughts, emotions, and patterns of behavior with honesty and precision. She can confront fears, acknowledge vulnerabilities, and identify her strengths. This level of self-awareness is invaluable. It equips her to make decisions that are not reactive or influenced by others, but intentional and aligned with her authentic self. She becomes a master of her emotions, capable of navigating challenges with composure and wisdom. The clarity gained in solitude is a source of strength that cannot be taken away by external circumstances. Emotional independence is a key outcome of living alone. Without relying on a romantic partner for validation, comfort, or support, she learns to meet her own emotional needs. She becomes her own source of strength, cultivating resilience and patience in the face of life's challenges. This independence does not mean she is unfeeling or disconnected. Rather, it means that she approaches life with a grounded understanding that her well-being is her responsibility. When she masters this skill, she no longer seeks happiness externally. It is cultivated internally, radiating outward and influencing all her relationships positively. Financial independence also plays a central role in this lifestyle. A woman who lives alone becomes responsible for managing her finances, planning for the future, and making choices that support her autonomy. She gains confidence in her ability to navigate the world on her own, creating security and freedom through her own efforts. This control over her resources allows her to make decisions that align with her values and priorities, rather than compromising for the sake of convenience or dependency. Financial independence enhances her overall sense of freedom, reinforcing her ability to live life fully on her own terms. Living alone hones discernment in relationships. When a woman is unattached, she can observe people with clarity, seeing their true intentions and character without distortion. She becomes skilled at identifying who is supportive, who adds value to her life, and who may bring negativity. This clarity protects her from entering unhealthy or manipulative relationships, allowing her to cultivate meaningful connections intentionally. Her friendships, family bonds, and professional relationships become more authentic and fulfilling because she is engaging from a place of wholeness, not need or dependency. The spiritual dimension of living alone is equally profound. In solitude, she has the opportunity to reflect, meditate, and connect deeply with herself and the universe. She explores her beliefs, understands her purpose, and cultivates practices that nurture her inner life. This spiritual alignment provides guidance, peace, and resilience. She learns to trust herself and the natural flow of life, understanding that true fulfillment comes from alignment with her own essence rather than from external attachments. This inner grounding strengthens her character and empowers her to navigate the world with wisdom, clarity, and grace. Society often measures a woman's worth by her romantic relationships, implying that she is incomplete without a boyfriend. A woman who lives alone defies this narrative. She demonstrates through her actions, presence, and achievements that fulfillment is cultivated internally and that happiness does not require dependence on another person. Her life becomes a testament to self-sufficiency, authenticity, and personal empowerment. She embodies a model of strength and independence, showing that her value is inherent and not contingent on societal expectations or the presence of a partner. Living alone also allows a woman to embrace creativity and personal growth fully. She can dedicate time to her passions, invest in skills, explore new experiences, and create a life that is rich with meaning and joy. Every choice she makes reflects her values, priorities, and aspirations. She experiences the freedom to live intentionally, without compromise or distraction. Her life becomes a deliberate, carefully crafted reflection of who she is and who she aims to become. The energy she invests in herself compounds over time, creating a strong foundation for personal and professional success. Ultimately, the woman who chooses to live alone without a boyfriend embodies independence, clarity, and mastery over her own life. She demonstrates that fulfillment, peace, and happiness are cultivated internally, and that a romantic partner is never a prerequisite for completeness. Her solitude is her sanctuary, her independence is her strength, and her presence is her power. She becomes a living example of the beauty, resilience, and fulfillment that arise when a woman prioritizes herself, her growth, and her purpose. In this space of autonomy, she also discovers patience. She no longer rushes into relationships for comfort, validation, or social acceptance. She waits for connections that resonate with her values, timing, and vision. She understands that love, when it arrives, is an addition to her life, not a requirement for wholeness. Her world is rich with experiences, opportunities, and moments of self-discovery. Every day is an investment in herself, her growth, and her future. She lives intentionally, demonstrating that independence is not merely a choice, but a pathway to freedom, fulfillment, and inner power. In the end, the woman who lives alone is not lonely. She is free, she is not incomplete, she is whole, she does not depend on another for happiness. She creates it herself. Her life is a powerful testament to the beauty of self-sufficiency, the strength of independence, and the extraordinary fulfillment that comes from living fully on her own terms. Through her choices, she inspires others to embrace their own autonomy, cultivate self-respect, and discover the profound joy that arises when one learns to stand alone, yet thrive. There is a remarkable and often underestimated power that emerges when a woman chooses to live alone without a boyfriend. In a world that constantly equates a woman's worth with her romantic relationships, choosing independence becomes an act of courage, a declaration of self-respect, and a path toward true fulfillment. Living alone is not a statement of loneliness or inadequacy, rather it is a conscious decision to prioritize personal growth, clarity, and inner peace over societal expectations. It is a decision to understand and cultivate the deepest, most meaningful relationship she will ever have, the one with herself. When a woman lives alone, she begins to explore life on her own terms. She has the freedom to pursue her passions without compromise, to make decisions that align with her values, and to dedicate her energy to creating a life that resonates with her soul. Every morning becomes an opportunity to design her day intentionally, without adjusting for the needs, desires, or moods of a partner. This autonomy allows her to cultivate a deep sense of self-mastery. She no longer seeks fulfillment in external sources. Instead, she invests in herself, her dreams, and her personal growth. This conscious approach to life nurtures confidence, resilience, and inner strength. Solitude offers a unique opportunity for self-discovery. A woman who lives alone learns to listen deeply to her own thoughts, emotions, and instincts. She confronts fears, acknowledges vulnerabilities, and embraces her strengths. This level of self-awareness is transformative because it allows her to make decisions from a place of authenticity rather than obligation. She begins to understand the difference between temporary desires and long-term fulfillment. She recognizes which relationships, experiences, and opportunities align with her purpose and which serve only as distractions. Through this clarity, she gains a profound sense of control over her life. Emotional resilience is another extraordinary benefit of living alone. Without depending on a boyfriend for comfort, reassurance, or validation. She learns to regulate her emotions independently. She develops tools to navigate stress, disappointment, and uncertainty with grace. This self-reliance strengthens her character and cultivates inner peace that cannot be shaken by external circumstances. Over time, she becomes a beacon of calm and stability, attracting people who respect her energy and appreciate her authenticity. She demonstrates that true strength is not measured by dependency, but by the ability to stand firm in one's own life. Financial independence plays a pivotal role in supporting her autonomy. A woman living alone takes responsibility for her finances, investments, and planning for the future. This responsibility cultivates discipline, foresight, and confidence. She is free to make choices that align with her values and goals, rather than being influenced by the needs or expectations of a partner. Financial self-sufficiency enhances her freedom, empowering her to live life fully on her own terms. She becomes adept at creating opportunities, overcoming obstacles, and building a life that is secure, abundant, and fulfilling. Living alone also heightens discernment in relationships. Without romantic attachment clouding her judgment, she can observe the intentions and character of those around her with clarity. She becomes skilled at identifying who adds value to her life and who may bring negativity or disruption. This clarity allows her to form meaningful, authentic connections based on mutual respect, understanding, and shared values. Friendships, family relationships, and professional collaborations all become more intentional and fulfilling because she engages from a place of wholeness rather than need. Solitude owns her intuition, enabling her to navigate life's social complexities with wisdom and discernment. There is a profound spiritual dimension to living alone. Time spent in solitude allows her to reflect, meditate, and cultivate a connection with her inner self and the universe. She explores her beliefs, aligns with her purpose, and nurtures practices that deepen her awareness and compassion. This spiritual alignment strengthens her resilience, providing guidance and clarity in moments of uncertainty. She discovers that fulfillment and peace are cultivated internally rather than sought externally. In this sacred space of solitude, she grows in understanding, self-awareness, and wisdom, becoming a woman whose presence radiates calm, confidence, and authenticity. Society often pressures women to define themselves through romantic relationships, implying that being single is a sign of incompleteness. A woman who lives alone challenges this narrative. She demonstrates that happiness, fulfillment, and self-worth are cultivated from within. Her life becomes a testament to the power of independence, self-reliance, and intentional living. She shows the world that her value is inherent and cannot be measured by the presence or absence of a romantic partner. By embracing solitude, she reclaims her narrative and creates a life that is fully her own. Living alone also enables her to embrace creativity, passion, and self-expression fully. She dedicates time and energy to activities that resonate with her soul: career pursuits, artistic endeavors, travel, learning, and personal growth. Every choice she makes is intentional, reflecting her authentic desires and priorities. Her life is not a compromise or a series of adjustments for someone else. It is a deliberate creation, shaped by her own vision. This intentional approach to living cultivates a sense of satisfaction, joy and accomplishment that is unmatched by external validation. Ultimately, the woman who chooses to live alone without a boyfriend embodies strength, wisdom, and self-mastery. She demonstrates that independence is not a limitation, but a gateway to fulfillment and empowerment. Her solitude is a sanctuary, her freedom is a gift, and her life is a reflection of her clarity, purpose, and authenticity. She inspires others by example, showing that a woman can thrive, grow, and be whole entirely on her own. She is complete, resilient, and radiant because she has chosen herself, her values, and her future over societal pressures or dependency. In embracing this path, she also cultivates patience. She no longer seeks temporary comfort in fleeting relationships. She waits for connections that are meaningful, aligned with her values, and worthy of her time and energy. She recognizes that love, when it comes, is an addition to a life already rich in fulfillment, not a prerequisite for completeness. Her world is abundant with experiences, opportunities, and personal growth, where every day is an investment in herself, her strength, and her future. She moves through life with intention, awareness, and unwavering self-respect, demonstrating that independence is not only empowering, it is transformative. Through living alone, she discovers that happiness, peace, and power are cultivated internally. She learns that fulfillment is not dependent on a partner, but on self-mastery, intentional living, and alignment with her purpose. Her life is a powerful testament to the strength, beauty, and resilience of a woman who chooses herself first. She stands as proof that solitude is not a void, but a space of immense potential, growth, and empowerment. In her independence, she is free. In her clarity, she is strong. And in her self-mastery, she becomes an inspiration, showing that a woman can be whole, fulfilled, and radiant entirely on her own.